Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is January 3rd, 2025. And Bitcoin has almost reached our target of the minimum target of 100K and the maximum target of 102K. We've almost reached our target, and it is Friday afternoon. Okay, that's relevant because we're going into the weekend. We have only 4 or 5 more hours of traditional market trading before we go into the weekend, and basically whatever happens is usually wash trading, i.e. we go sideways and sometimes we go a little down. We create CME gaps. It's very difficult to really rely on weekend trading as being anything substantive that is lasting. Okay, we may see moves, but again, during the weekend we tend to see things that get erased. Whatever happens gets erased, gets retraced upon. So there are only a few more hours, and this makes sense, right? When you look at the chart, what do you see? You see that Bitcoin is almost at our target, and so there's not much for it to do. Were it to go up in the last 4 or 5 hours of market trading, then we hit our target, and then we expect what during the weekend? Side and down. That's it. Like, this is very according to plan. Okay, so there's not really much going on with Bitcoin with respect to any new news. It's doing exactly what we thought it would do. This impulse wasn't quick. It did take its time, and I hope it showed everyone just the nature of this move up, the nature, the laggard, labored nature of this impulse. Just shows it's a corrective impulse. It shows it's not a pure, bull market impulse. And once we get here, it'll be put out of its misery, right? It just looks like, if you have to characterize it, it just looks like it's so difficult to get up to 100K. Oh my goodness. It's retracement, consolidation, retracement, consolidation, retracement, consolidation. Finally 100K. That type of thing. Okay? And if you aren't used to looking at price action, maybe that doesn't make any sense to you. But if you do have some chart hours under your belt, it makes perfect sense. It's like, yeah, I can kind of see that, whereby, like, once we hit a target, whatever target that may be, the price will start to do what it feels like it wants to do. Because price goes, just like water, just like electricity, it goes to where the liquidity is. It goes to the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is clearly not up, as you can see, because this is a very arduous path for Bitcoin. The path of least resistance is down. It's this impulse right here, and you'll see very well once we get to this area between 100 and 102K, and we do some whatever distribution on the small time frames is needed, you'll see just how quickly and how differently the price action looks. The quality of the price action should be very markedly different. Like, it should be like night and day. Like, oh wow, it's almost like it's taken off its weighted shoes, right? It's just boom. That's impulsive price action. This should be impulsive price action. So that's Bitcoin. Nothing's really changed. That's not the story. What I want to talk about today is, in the midst of Bitcoin trudging along and making it to that eventual target, some altcoins will run. Okay? So some altcoins are in a proper alt season. And I mean that literally, whereby, like, they just are in up only mode. Not many, but some. Okay, so it's up to us as chartists, as analysts, to identify which of the assets in the market are in that mode. And I think what's going to happen, I don't know for sure, but I think based off of what I'm seeing in the Bitcoin charts, what's going to happen over the weekend is those assets, those altcoins that are in up only mode are in proper alt season, that are not going to put in a massive correction once Bitcoin starts dumping because they haven't already pumped themselves. They're going to use the opportunity of Bitcoin moving up slowly to its target and then going side to side. They're going to use that opportunity to run over the weekend after market. So, at the close of the market around 5-6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time, and well into the weekend, you can expect some big moves in some altcoins, not all. Okay? So this is what really distinguishes alt season proper from just selective alt season or pre-alt season. I would call this pre-alt season, where there's some assets like my trade in Litentry, which, some people think, well, Dean, you were talking about Litentry, it hasn't done much of anything. Meanwhile, Cardano's up 12% and Dot's up 8%, right? Yes, it hasn't done much of anything yet. But see, again, look at price action. Don't just be fixated on price, okay? Don't get fixated on price. Look at price action. The price action is particularly intriguing. Look at this chart. This is a very, very, very impressive chart where all of the requisite consolidation, accumulation of the bear market is complete. And then the final steps of that, right? When you look at any range, the final steps, sorry, I'm going to try this again. I hate when it doesn't. Okay, let's do this properly. It's the OCD in me. I can't just let it go. So let's get the tool out. I can't talk and find these tools, so just bear with me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we look at this channel, and this is many years, as you can see. From 2022 to present day, we've been in this consolidation, okay? That's not the most interesting thing about this. Like the fact that we were in consolidation, that's obvious. Obviously, like I like the high time frame chart because, you went up, you went down, you put in the work, you put in the time, you did your requisite consolidation, and the longer the base, the higher in space. So I am expecting, this is one coin that I'm expecting a legitimate bull market from, right? Legitimate bull market, legitimate price action. Like, once it goes, it goes. I don't expect it to chop and come back down and all that stuff, because all of that consolidation's already been done. What really intrigues me is the idea that you put in those many years of consolidation, you based at the bottom of the channel, broke out from that base, retested it as support, and now you're moving up from there. That is intriguing. That is why I'm saying this is one of those altcoins that is in its actual alt season. Very high probability that when Bitcoin does start moving down, this will be much higher than it is now, because its retracement, it'll retrace from much higher levels, and it'll retrace, everything will retrace, but it's likely to retrace from much higher levels than it is currently. This is why my Lit trade was, this is why Lit was one of those assets I was like really, really keen on trading. And I am really keen on trading it, and the trade is doing well. I'm just going to leave it. It's going, if you look at this on the small time frames, it's not doing much. And this can be exasperating for some new traders. Like, oh man, I was in this trade and I waited and I waited and I waited, and look, it's not doing much. I don't see strong green candles. I just see a lot of sideways stuff and a little bit of up, but not much. This is what you typically see a precursor as a precursor to strong price action. Again, you don't get something without nothing. Those big green candles that you get that actually last, that don't come back upon themselves, right? If it's fast, it won't last. If it's fast, it won't last. I forget the last part of it. Yeah, if it's fast, it won't last. There's another part to that, but I completely forgot it. In any case, the idea is that the time it's taking to consolidate, yes, it's annoying, but these moves basically, they precede strong moves to the upside that usually stay. Because what's happening when you're consolidating and going up at the same time is that the buyers and the sellers are coming to a consensus on the fair market value of the asset. Okay, it's not that one party, the buyers, are doing something and the sellers are not party to those transactions, or vice versa. That's when you get big fluctuations up and down. But when you get those consolidations, it's basically, okay, let's sit down at the table. What is this worth? Okay, let's all agree that this asset is worth this much at this time. And then when you move, then you can experience some retracements, but retracements that come to a level of retracement that doesn't completely retrace upon the upswing. I hope that's making sense. So like, as a chartist that's seen a lot of these charts, yes, it bothers me, or it annoys me. That's the word. It annoys me. I'm in the trade and it's like moving 0.1% up to the upside per 4 hours, but I'm cool because I understand that in the medium term and possibly over the next 24, 48, 72 hours, I'm going to be very happy about this trade. Let's look at another example of one of those assets that I believe is in its actual bull run. Dent. Okay, this is a telecom play. This, again, these are dino coins. These are things that not many people are talking about. They're established projects that came out bull markets ago, but people who are new to this space don't understand. These assets take time on the market to establish a market, to establish buyers and sellers, to establish a community of buyers and sellers, a reliable community of buyers and sellers. Okay, it's not a hype thing. It's people over long periods of time decided that this was worth investing in, so much so that the price went up and it came down and held certain levels. This is what you want to see. This is a type of asset you want to get involved with in the bull market, because they tend to create actual lasting gains that go up and then don't come down upon themselves. So this, for instance, is a nice one. Again, you see this long-standing consolidation, and this consolidation is most likely finished. And one of the ways you know that a consolidation is finished, I talk about a lot on this channel, is that, like, for instance, again, you see a multi-year channel, right? Let's try it, because my pen seems not to be too accurate today. Let's say something like this. Okay, something like this. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The idea is many years, right? We're in 2025. That's 2022 stuff. So 3+ years. Up, down, up, down, up, down. What you want to see before leaving the confines of a channel is always a move up and then down to the midline where the fair market value of the asset is agreed upon. And then you can move up. That's what you want to see, and that's what we're seeing in Dent, right? Again, let's zoom in. You can see that You went up and came back down to the midline, retest it as support. Previous resistance, right? Previous resistance, retested as support. That's an RS flip. And from here, you get 1, 2, maybe 3 consolidations. It's an up and to the right consolidation. In any case, it's very bullish, very, very bullish. And that is likely to create some sort of positive momentum that lasts and that doesn't necessarily need to retrace any further. So I can see something like Dent continuing to pump into the weekend very silently, very calmly, very kind of under wraps, right? It's not one of those projects that's being blasted all over social media, but don't be surprised if it does numbers. And the next logical target for something like this would maybe be, if I had to say, something like here or here. I don't know, but I mean, you can easily see this going 100, 150% over the weekend. Sure. I mean, it may not, but it very well may, right? So this is kind of what I think is really important or interesting about this coming weekend. While Bitcoin kind of stays sideways and goes up and hits its target, we may see some really interesting things in the altcoin space. But again, it's not the actual alt season where all the altcoins are just moving like this, or most of them. It's just a select few that have one not gone up for for the Trump pump, right? For the November 4th pump, they didn't do all of that stuff, and if they did, they've already come back and retraced whatever they needed to retrace, and they're ready. They basically put in all of their bear market consolidations for the bull run, and they're ready to run. So that's what I think is interesting. Hope this was helpful. Hope this was useful. Like, share, and subscribe if you got value. Consider tipping me by Venmo, by Cash App, or sending me Litecoin, all at the pinned comment below. And do consider my new crypto portfolio consultation service, one-on-one, 1 to 2 hours with you every month, and it's $150. And I go over your crypto portfolio up to 5 assets, help you balance the portfolio, analyze or examine the viability of all of the assets, give some opinions as to what you should probably be getting into, and give you entry and exit points for all of those assets on a monthly basis. If that sounds interesting to you, you can also sign up for that at the pinned comment below. Guys, hope you have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.